Such the ladies' man, aren't you, my man? Mother. Yeah, yourself, asshole. You're a ugly mother.
You know,
just shut your mouth.
I don't know if I love him. I regret everything. I should have had the courage just to pack my bags and go back to Panama.
Look, I think it's fair to say that when Gino and Jasmine come on our screens these days, we all do a collective eye roll. But having watched them for years, right, I think the least we deserve are some genuine answers. Answers to questions like, did Jasmine cheat? Was she with Matt from before the last resort? Was getting pregnant part of her plan? And are she and Matt still together? So with Matt now joining by video call, maybe he can share some insights.
I was definitely scared when she told me.
It took us by surprise because we were taking all the precautions. I was we couldn't believe it was happening. So yeah, he was super scared.
Okay, so baby Matilda was an accident, right? That's what they want us to believe. And a lot of people online don't believe her. But I've got to say, I don't understand that argument. I don't quite understand how planning a pregnancy with Matt would benefit Jasmine in any way. If anything, her separation from Gino now leaves her status in the States quite uncertain. Heck, she now finds herself very, very unpopular, hated even. I'm not sure she would have deliberately chosen to have put herself in that position.
I know Gino's trying to make you think that I'm some horrible, marriage breaker, and I'm not. I'm not that type of person.
Yeah, sorry Matt, but I'm not sure either you or Jasmine are going to have much luck changing people's opinions about you right now. And in fact, if that is indeed what Matt's trying to do, he goes about it completely the wrong way when he starts to lecture to Gino and explain to him where he went wrong with Jasmine. We all know where he went wrong. Gino isn't perfect, far from it, but he doesn't need to hear it from the man that knocked up his wife.
You don't talk to her like somebody that you care for.
Shut up, you don't know anything.
You won't get anywhere with her.
You don't know anything.
I'm sure he tried his best to treat her nice.
I treated her nice.
Really? That's quite subjective, isn't it? I'm not exactly sure either of these two, either Jasmine or Gino, treated each other nice. Jasmine had no qualms in squandering Gino's money. Boob implants, butt implants, penthouse apartments, you name it, she treated herself to it and then verbally abused him and took advantage of him to boot. But on the other hand, Gino spread her nudes. He's responsible for the death of her career, right? She used to be a teacher. And just to add to that, he then tried to control her financially and also by withholding sex. Sorry, but neither of these guys were nice. They both suck, right? And now that it's over in the cold light of day, Gino finally realizes that agreeing to an open marriage was a huge mistake.
Overall, after all of this was done, I regret agreeing to open marriage. I felt like I was trapped in a corner, like I had to make a decision, take action, because nothing was working for us.
Now, we did see how Gino was backed into a corner when Jasmine gave him an ultimatum. Either accept this open marriage or I'm leaving, she effectively told him. But let's not forget that Gino also gave Jasmine an ultimatum. Act the way that I want you to, or I won't sleep with you. So is it any wonder that an open marriage didn't work? The foundations were built on quicksand. Gino and Jasmine's relationship wasn't strong enough for this to work. The communication between everyone involved wasn't strong enough.
What did you understand were the rules of this open marriage contract?
That she's allowed to hang out with me or sleep with me twice a week or something like that.
Or something like that, he says. Now, I'm sorry, but I'm not quite buying this. For as much as he's trying to act dumb, we saw the conversation. We know that some rules were very clearly laid out. There were rules about wearing protection. There were rules about falling in love. And Gino was also very clear that he expected Jasmine to share her location with him. Matt knew this. He agreed to this. So his answer here feels disingenuous, disrespectful towards Gino. It kind of shows how little consideration he put into this and how little he seems to care. And if Gino is to be believed, Jasmine didn't care either.
Jasmine never told me when she was going to Matt since she got back from couples therapy. Not once did she give me her location when I've asked for it.
It's nonsense.
It's really a matter of he said, she said. So who do you believe, Gino or Jasmine? Personally, I don't trust either of them. Both have a version of events that they want us to believe, and the truth is probably somewhere in the middle of it all. But what is very clear is that Matt is outnumbered by Gino and the boys, and now they're about to push him to the edge.
He got my friend's wife pregnant.
Gino is a grown man, bro. You don't need to be his cup.
Hey, dickhead, shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth, senior citizen.
Oh boy, this is hilariously starting to get quite personal. The insults are flying left, right and centre. Now, personally, this is going to be a hot take, but I find it quite hard to feel bad for Gino. How can you feel bad for a man that met his wife on a sugar baby website? What did he expect was going to happen? How can he possibly be surprised at what his marriage has become when that's how it started?
This guy's delusional.
Such the ladies' man, aren't you, my man? Mother. Yeah, yourself, asshole. You're a ugly mother.
Gino is angry. I don't think I've ever seen him this angry before. Now, keep in mind, off screen, after The Last Resort was filmed, in fact, after all the news about Jasmine getting pregnant by Matt broke, Jasmine hit back at Gino by claiming that he was cheating on her. Yeah, how's that for an Uno reverse card? She claims he was cheating during the resort and after it. Now, Gino denies those accusations, but it does raise the question, was any of this marriage actually real? I mean, Sean points out the glaringly obvious. She asks Jasmine, how can you be attracted to guys that look like Gino and also guys that look like Matt? What exactly is your type? Anyone with eyes can see that these two men are very, very different.
I always found my husband attractive. I have always said it and people don't believe me, but it is what it is.
Well, I think he's ugly.
So there's a very popular theory online, I'm sure you've seen it, that Jasmine's been faking her entire relationship with Gino for a green card. Now, is that outside the realms of possibility? No, it's not. I mean, we have all questioned at one time or another what someone that looks like Jasmine is doing with Gino and his feet. It's always been kind of weird. But while Jasmine does at least concede that Matt is objectively good looking, she goes on to say that they don't have any love between them. In fact, Jasmine has recently admitted that they're not in a relationship. They've gone from being friends with benefits to co-parents, but that's it, nothing more.
Matt and I became friends with benefits, and now we are co-parenting our daughter, and that's it. I'm not even in a relationship with him romantically or anything. I still don't know what I want.
But the problem is, that decision may have been one-sided, because Matt reveals in the tell-all that he actually has deeper feelings for Jasmine.
Matt, do you love Jasmine?
I do. She's carrying my child, so I do.
Now, Jasmine claims that she has an emotional attachment to Matt, but as she tears up as she turns on the waterworks, she also tries to explain that she's not even sure what love is anymore. Again, taking this back to social media for a second, in an Instagram story she posted before this finale aired, Jasmine revealed that she doesn't love Gino or Matt. She just wants to be alone and to be left alone. So going back to the show now, when Sean asks Jasmine if she loves Matt, her answer doesn't really come as a surprise.
I do care about him. I feel protected. I feel well taken care, and I like that feeling. But I don't know if I love him.
Look at Gino's face. He's looking pretty smug at that, isn't he? It probably makes him feel good to know that Jasmine doesn't love Matt, and in his mind at least, he probably thinks that she's still hung up on him. Now, up until this point, other than the very first tell-all, the whole shoe-throwing fiasco, right, Jasmine hasn't really said too much. She's kept herself to herself, at least on stage. But now it's her turn. The spotlight is on her. This is now her opportunity to deliver her pre-prepared, tearful monologue.
I will never be able to hate or be that resentful as Gino. I will never be able to hate someone that
once I loved that much.
She's definitely been practicing that in the mirror, hasn't she? Jasmine says that she knows the whole world is casting suspicion on her. She's fully aware that everyone thinks that she's used Gino in this marriage. But, she says, deep down in his heart, Gino knows that despite everything, their love was genuine. And that's not all. Her monologue isn't done yet.
I know that I wasn't the perfect wife. I made so many mistakes.
If you truly loved me, you wouldn't have...
I don't care what you
wouldn't
think
have pursued
anymore.
Matt at the gym 5 months after our
I
marriage.
don't.
Now, here's the thing. This whole performance is a little bit silly. Jasmine's so deep in her emotions, her performance, right, welling up with tears and having this grand moment talking about her love for Gino, but she immediately undermines it. She breaks character when Gino interrupts her momentarily and she snaps back saying, I don't care what you think. Like, doesn't she see the irony of that? But... hold on a second. What's that? What exactly is that Gino's accusing her of?
You would not pursue a man at the gym 5 months after marriage if you truly loved me.
Even to the day, you treat me like garbage. You have always treated me bad.
Look, I think this is where we can acknowledge that two things can be true at once. Jasmine already had Matt in mind when she went to the retreat because of their connection, right? That is cheating. She can't have truly loved Gino if she emotionally cheated on him. But guess what? It's also true that Gino treated her badly. Those two things can both be true, and it's now Jasmine's turn to express her regret.
I regret everything. I should have had the courage just to pack my bags and go back to Panama.
Jasmine's right, and that is a brutal lesson to learn. Like, instead of all of this open marriage bullshit, if she was truly unhappy with Gino, she should have just left. Now she's stuck in this really weird and uncomfortable situation. She's co-parenting one child with one man, unsure of her visa status, waiting for her sons to maybe possibly come to America one day, but at the same time finding herself in a state of limbo, regretting the situation that she finds herself in.
I should have just and instead of perpetuating this, prolonging this nightmare and this torture, I should have just left.
Yeah, with the benefit of hindsight, Jasmine now realises that her marriage was dead before they even got to the resort. But, she says, neither of us were ready to let go. Now, it's at this point that the therapists are invited on stage. And as we all remember, one therapist in particular, Reba, worked very closely with Jasmine. She herself admitted that she is in a non-monogamous relationship. She shared her perspectives, her views, her do's and don'ts for a successful non-monogamous relationship with Jasmine. And perhaps not surprisingly, that view, like those suggestions from a therapist, didn't sit too well with a lot of people. But isn't it interesting that now Reba tries to backtrack, she tries to clarify her position. Non-monogamy isn't for everyone, she says. I never actually thought that these two should open up their marriage.
They rushed into a situation neither of them was really comfortable with. And we see what happens when we rush into things that are really complicated and really difficult.
Reba explains that Gino and Jasmine used polyamory as a band-aid on their issues, and that was never going to work. Now, to be fair to her, this is actually something that we saw her explain to Jasmine during their one-on-one session. But Gino now takes the opportunity to chime in and claim that no one ever gave him any indication of what to expect. I went into an open marriage totally clueless, he claims.
I don't remember anyone saying to me, Gino, this is not a good idea. You shouldn't do this open marriage. I don't recall anyone telling me that.
It's not my job to tell you what you should and shouldn't do.
Now, I'm sorry, but I'm not buying Gino's argument here. That isn't a therapist's job. Therapists are there to help you figure out your own thoughts and emotions, but they're not there to tell you what to do. Gino's a grown man. He's a grown man that can make up his own mind. And let's not forget, he literally had all of his friends outright tell him that this isn't a good idea. They shouldn't open up their marriage. But he did it anyway. That was his choice. But, of course, it's a whole lot easier to blame someone else. Blame the therapist. It's their fault my marriage failed.
I talked to you guys about what's required, the conversations that need to be had, the agreements that need to be made, the trust that needs to be there for you guys to walk down this path.
Now, Jasmine defends Reba by saying that she was always very clear about what we both needed to do before opening up our marriage, Gino. Like, it's good to see that Jasmine is taking accountability. She says that she knew what she should have done, but still went ahead with doing it her own way anyway.
We decided to walk into this. It didn't work, and it's our fault. Period. Just saying yes to the open marriage, the biggest mistake ever.
And that's that. There isn't really much else to say. They tried an open marriage, they tried it for 2 whole weeks, and then everything came crumbling down. Jasmine got pregnant, Gino understandably felt betrayed, and what was left of their disastrous marriage disintegrated. That's that. It's over. They have now separated, and they won't be getting back together. Period. Now, as the tell-all wraps up, Reba joins Jasmine to not only say goodbye, but to also give her some advice for how to deal with all the backlash that she's been receiving.
As soon as I sat, I was just crucified and accused of cheating.
Let them think what they want. Let them have their opinions.
Jasmine's upset because she thinks everyone's mad at her for wanting an open marriage. That's unfair, she claims. Me and Gino both agreed to it together. But, Jasmine, I think you're missing a vital piece of the puzzle there. I mean, a lot of the anger stems from what happened next. People are mad at the fact you got pregnant. I mean, what 2 consenting adults agree to do within the confines of their own marriage is their business, right? But what Jasmine did went beyond those agreed confines. Sorry, but she can't now act like the victim. And as she begins to cry in front of Reba, get this, Jasmine then goes on to make a wild confession that literally has my jaw on the floor.
I was telling him, I came to this country and I wanted to live this dream with you. I wish this baby was yours, It's so cruel to say this so low.
No. I'm sorry, Jasmine. That's just not true, is it? We all clearly remember Gino was desperate to have a child with her. Jasmine was the one that told him she no longer wanted to. But that's how it goes with Jasmine. The story always changes to suit her needs. And Reba leaves her with some parting words of wisdom.
Protect your peace. Focus on you and your family and your baby, because that is who needs you to be strong right now.
And I think Jasmine has taken that to heart. After initially getting tangled in a whole lot of mess online, accusing Gino of cheating on her, falling out very publicly with members of Gino's family, ever since, it seems like she's taken a step back. Nowadays, she mostly seems to post about herself or baby Matilda. But, hold on a minute, I feel like we've missed something. Cast your minds back to the very first tell-all. Remember when Gino promised us this?
If Matt so happens to show up as part of the tell-all, I've got some dirt for him and I'm gonna make him cry.
What happened to that dirt that you promised, Gino? What happened to making Matt cry? Where's the tea? What dirt did you have? Was Gino just playing the big man? Was he talking a big game? Or is there more to come? Is there, perhaps, more explosive news in the future?